Welcome to GrammySusu's Story Time, coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have a great story to read to you today. I hope you like it as much as I do. Hi everyone, thanks for coming today. Today I let my friend Bear pick out the book. It's one of Bear's most favorite books, and I wouldn't let Bear bring a sword, which Bear wanted to do, but I did let Bear pick out this outfit, which has to do with the story, I guess, or at least in Bear's mind it does, so I hope you'll admire it a little bit before I start to read the book. Because he looks so good. Anyway, today's book is called The Tough Princess, and Bear really admires The Tough Princess. This book was written by Martin Waddell, and the pictures were drawn by someone named Patrick Benson. Let's find out about The Tough Princess, okay? Oh, it's going to help me to put on my glasses, right? Okay. Okay. Once upon a time, there lived a king and a queen who weren't very good at it. They kept losing wars and kingdoms and ended up living in a shack parked beside a deep, dark woods. The king is the one with the frying pan. The queen is the one with the hammer trying to fix the roof. One day, the queen told the king that she was going to have a baby. "Have a boy," commanded the king. "He will grow up to be a hero, marry a rich princess, and bring back all of our fortunes." "Good idea," said the queen. But when the baby came, what do you think? It was a girl. "Never mind," said the king. "She will grow up to be a beautiful princess. I will annoy a bad fairy and get the princess into trouble. Then a handsome prince will come rescue her, and we'll all go off and live in his castle." "Good thinking," said the queen. "We'll call her Rosamund." "Bah," said Rosamund. The princess grew up and up and up and up until at last there wasn't room in the shack to hold her. The king got her a tent and pitched it outside. "It's time you were married, Rosamund," the king told the princess on her 17th birthday. "Yes, Dad," said the princess, "but I'll go off and arrange it," said the king. She's very tall, right? One thing about this book, I'm going to warn you guys, you kind of want to look at around the edges of the pictures as well as into the middle of the picture. There's all kinds of funny little things that happen on the edges. The king went off into the deep, dark wood to annoy some bad fairies. The first fairy the king met was a good one. She didn't even get angry when the king called her names. The second one was bad, but she was only a beginner. She turned the king into a frog for making faces at her cat, but the spell wore off. The third fairy was very bad. Here she is. The king was very rude to her. "Aha!" cried the bad fairy. "What do you love most in the world?" "My daughter Rosamund," cried the king hopefully. Then I will cast a spell on her, cackled the bad fairy, who wasn't very bright, and she darted off to do it. Do you remember the king's plan to have the fairy get Rosamund in trouble? Goody, cried the king, because his get the princess a rich prince plan was working. The bad fairy came upon Princess Rosamund picking buttercup flowers in the glade. Aha, she cried, I am the bad fairy, come to put a spell on you. 7 years shall you lie, till a prince come riding by. Bop went Princess Rosamund, and she knocked the bad fairy out, bent her false teeth, see them flying out there, and busted her glasses. Wow. You rotten, ungrateful thing, Rosamund, said the queen, picking up the bad fairy. I'll find my prince my own way, said Princess Rosamund. The next day, she borrowed the king's bike and rode off to seek her own prince. Rosamund had a lot of adventures. She killed dragons and great snakes and knights in black armor. She rescued several princes who were quite rich, but she didn't like them, and so she threw them back. She did all the things a heroine ought to do, but she didn't find her prince. Finally, Princess Rosamund grew tired of rescuing princes and killing dragons, and her front wheel buckled and bent in a fight with a 100-headed thing. So she set off sadly for home, carrying her bicycle. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. Hello, bad fairy, said Princess Rosamund when she got home. Where's your prince then? Said the king and the queen and the bad fairy, who had moved in at this time. Haven't got one, said Princess Rosamund. I'm not going to marry a ninny. A ninny is somebody who's not very smart. What about us? Cried the king and the queen and the bad fairy. What are we supposed to live on if you can't come up with a prince? That's your problem, said Princess Rosamund. I'm not going to... And then she saw the sign. This way to the enchanted prince, it said. I'm doing this for me, said Rosamund firmly, and she set off into the deep, dark woods. You can look after yourselves. She bashed up several goblins and ghouls and the odd fairy, including several good ones by mistake, and finally she won her way through to the enchanted castle. There, on a flower-strewn bed in the castle, lay a beautiful prince. Rosamund gave him a big kiss. The beautiful prince opened his eyes, jumped to his feet. Oops, Bear. I told him that hat wouldn't work. Okay, are you up? Are you okay? All right. I think Bear got very upset at this story. The prince put up his fists. Rosamund did too. But before their fists met, their eyes did. What a prince, she said. What a princess, he said. It was love at first look. So they biked off together on the bent-up bike and lived happily ever after. The king and queen lived happily ever after too. And as for the bad fairy, she got even worse. The end. Thanks for listening. Now I gotta go find Bear's helmet, otherwise known as the top of my little saucepan. Thanks for listening. See you next story time. Bye.